I work for a leisure company, offering activities like soft play, indoor soccer, and laser tag. Before the lockdown, we were negotiating to renew the lease for one of our parks. Things were going smoothly, but the landlords were hard to reach. Then, in 2020, everything went downhill. All our sites closed and chaos ensued. Negotiations took a back seat as we thought the landlord wouldn't evict us during this difficult time. After all, they were still getting rent despite the closures of our sites and nearby businesses. But we were wrong. A few days ago, we received a letter giving us only 7 days to leave the premises and take all our belongings with us. The letter warned that anything left behind would become the landlord's property. Moving our equipment to a new location is a massive undertaking, and with the lockdown in place and most businesses closed, it became even more challenging to save our assets. Losing a profitable site and all our equipment was a big blow to our company, but things got even worse. During the 7-day eviction period, we learned that the landlord was advertising our park to our competitors. Not only was he offering the building, but he was also offering all our equipment pre-installed, ready to go with just a rebranding needed. He evicted us in hopes of increasing rent and making a profit from our installed equipment. Assuming we couldn't empty the park in time, we were furious. And that's when the malicious compliance kicked in. Since we were given 7 days to move everything, that's exactly what we did. Local businesses offered us free space to store our belongings, and with the help of a few staff members, we spent the entire week removing, selling, or destroying everything that belonged to us. We didn't even leave light fittings. Normally, when we vacate other sites, we leave behind expensive disco lights and much of the construction, as well as bars and intact kitchens. But not this time. We ripped up the flooring we installed, tore down wooden walls we added, dismantled our manager's offices, and removed all artwork and lockers. The landlord's plans for new deals with other companies went down the drain, and now he has to deal with a hefty renovation bill to reinstall the flooring and other things we removed. Due to an extended lockdown, the landlord won't receive rent for at least another 4 weeks, which we used to pay, and he won't have potential buyers either. As a silver lining, we managed to sell the assets we salvaged from the site, like fridges, TVs, equipment, and tables. The lack of rent and additional income actually helped our business and paid staff wages.
At my old workplace, we had generous vacation benefits, especially for long-term employees. If you worked there for 25 plus years, you got 8 weeks of vacation and 2 weeks of personal time. The company was family-owned, but quite large, with over 250 employees across 3 shifts. Then came Jimmy, a seasoned man who had been with the company since he was 20. Now, at 63, he didn't care about holding back his opinions. Jimmy was one of the few who knew how to make a crucial part for our product, along with one other higher up in the office. One day, the owner announced he was selling the company to a corporation. He was ready to retire, and he assured us that not much would change under the new management. But things changed drastically when the new company took over. They immediately slashed the vacation time, limiting it to 4 weeks for everyone and eliminating personal time. Those who had already accrued more vacation had until the end of the year to use it, or they wouldn't get paid for it. The new management also started firing employees near retirement age, including Jimmy's backup. However, they made one big mistake. They removed the requirement to get vacation approved, allowing employees to take time off whenever they pleased. Jimmy was furious, and the new management knew it. They realized that he was the only one who could do his specialized job, so they brought in a new person for him to train, likely with the intention of replacing him permanently. But Jimmy had other plans. On the first day of training for the new hire, Jimmy called in and informed us that he was taking all his remaining paid time off at once. He took a whopping 10 weeks off, leaving us with a stockpile of parts he had previously made, which eased some worries. During those 10 weeks, Jimmy applied for other jobs, found one he liked, and started working there. When it was time for Jimmy to return, he didn't show up. The company tried calling him and even went to his house, but he was nowhere to be found. Finally, on the 3rd day, he called to resign, and they were furious. The parts he made were specialized and patented by the original founder, so hiring a replacement wasn't that simple. They had to bring in the original owner to teach new hires how to produce those parts. When he found out what the new management had done, he was livid. He charged them a hefty 7-figure contract for his services, and they had to pay up or risk shutting down.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies faced challenges in managing remote staff, including my workplace, a large university where I worked as a social media manager. Although considered essential staff for some situations, I had concerns about my husband's autoimmune disease and asked my supervisor weeks before the virus became widespread in the US if remote options could be considered. Unfortunately, I was laughed off and told it wouldn't happen. As the situation escalated, our university decided to shift to online learning for 3 weeks. Once again, I inquired about remote options to help flatten the curve, but was met with a firm no as essential staff. An HR email followed, stating that all employees, including the 4,000 of us, were expected to come in as usual, and any time off at home would require personal, vacation, or sick leave. While exceptions could be requested, I was in a state with a high number of COVID-19 cases, and concerns among staff were mounting. Taking matters into my own hands, I emailed my supervisor, informing them that I had contacted HR to request remote work approval. If it wasn't granted, I planned to follow the protocol and take sick leave for an indefinite period. Being part of a union allowed me to request up to 26 weeks of fully paid sick leave for myself or family care, and I knew it would be approved. The decision was now up to them. Soon after, HR reached out to me, frantically responding to thousands of similar emails and calls. Apparently, I wasn't the only one threatening their bosses with time off. By the end of the day, we received an email stating that all staff and classes would be remote until further notice. While it's likely the decision would have been made eventually, I'd like to believe that the collective action of thousands of employees advocating for remote work through the tactic of malicious compliance expedited the process.
Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you.